Everyone, the Merry Makers Christmas Craft Collab is all about using things from your stash to make things that you would normally make for Christmas if you're a paper crafter. So there is a list of prompts, and each week a group of us, and there is a list of collaborators, and I'll share more about that in a little bit. We share different projects we've made using those prompts. So this is what I have used up in my stash. I've completely used up the Warm Wishes from Graphic 45. I have completely used up this Christmas Rose paper collection. I've used up several specialty papers that have been sitting in my stash for 5-10 years. I used up all of the papers I had left from this really adorable collage-y kind of collection called Christmas Patchwork from Stamperia. So I used all that. All I have left is this. The only thing I had left with the Graphic 45 were teeny scraps, and if you watched last week's video, you saw how I used all those scraps. So what am I supposed to do? Now we have another week of prompts, and this week we're supposed to make gift cards. You would think I have enough paper to make gift cards, and I probably could have made it with digitals or something, but I went out and bought more paper. So I went to Michael's and picked up a 6x6 paper pad thinking this should be enough to make my gift card holder. And it was. I had paper left, but that's all I had left. So if you want to use up some paper, this is a great way of making some gift card holders. It looks like this. Isn't that adorable? It's about 2 inches wide and 4 inches, well, including that, it's about 6 inches tall. But it's got 2 little compartments. One side has just a really simple mini album, and I'll show you that a little bit more. I'll go through this at the end of the video. But here is the gift card holder. So this is where you would put a gift card. So I thought it was cute. I'll talk about where I got the idea from in the video. But there is something else. I have been holding out on you. I have a secret, and I'll tell you more about that when I finish this tutorial. So let me show you how to make this. We're going to make the box first, then the mini album, and then the little gift card holder. If you wanted to, you could just make the gift card holder. You know, maybe tie it shut with a ribbon or a piece of Velcro and just give this as a gift. But of course, I wanted to do something fabulous and use up all this paper. So let me show you how. For these projects, I used 65-pound weight cardstock. Okay, so you'll need one piece of cardstock that's 4 by 10, 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 8, one piece that is 4 by 6, and for the handle, 1 by 5. Now I toyed with the idea of using string or ribbon. You could do what you want, but this way it makes it sort of sturdy. If you want, take a screenshot of that so you've got it all. And it also has the measurements for scoring, which we're going to do right now. The 1 by 5 you will not need to score. The 4 by 10 with the 10-inch side at the top, we'll score it 2, 4, 8, and 9. The 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 8, we will score at 1, at 2, 6, and 7. Again, that's 1, 2, 6, and 7. And then there is another piece that is 4 inches by 6, so just score it at 1 and 2. Fun, fun, fun. Alrighty, let me remove all that and let us grab the 4 by 10 and the 4 by 6. You'll need those. So what we're going to do with this 4 by 10, we're going to fold it and burnish. So I'm going to fold and burnish here and here. And then you're going to fold this one in, and you'll fold this one out. So this is what it'll look like when it's all said and done. I'm sorry about my light. I'm trying to get it so you can see it without the glare of the ring light. I don't know what to do. If anyone has any ideas, let me know. All right, so now this one, the 4x6, will fold this one in and this one out. So that's what that one looks like. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put these two pieces, these little zigzags, glue them on top of each other. So I'm going to flatten that and add glue here. Come on, glue. There we go. And then put this one right there. And burnish. Okay. Now here we can round the corners. This is going to be the flap. All right, let's put this aside and let's grab the two pieces that are 4 3/4 by 8. Now we're going to do a little cutting. Oh, I forgot. Wait, there's one more score on this. We're going to score it 7/8 with the short side at the top for both of those. A little important thing. All right, so for this, you're going to remove this and this, this and this. Grab my scissors. And this piece is going to need to be mitered, so I might as well miter it. So I'll miter up to that line and then cut across these two score lines. I'm going to cut on the score line. So I'll miter up to that line, cut across these two score lines. Now, just to make it easier, I'm going to miter up here and a little here. Okay. Think you got it? Well, you get to practice on this one too. Up to the score line, cut across 2 on the score line. Up to the score line, cut across 2 on the score line. Miter, 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 miter. Alrighty. Now let's fold and burnish on these score lines. And do it for this one. Alrighty, so what we're doing is, all right, so this is going to make the base. Actually, it goes like this. So that's our base. These two pieces are going to be our little compartments. So one will go on to this part, one will go on to that one. I don't like how that was scored. I find it easier to first glue this piece down and then glue the side. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add glue I'm going to make sure I've got this piece up to the fold and it even on my paper, which it is. I'm checking to make sure these all line up and everything is nice and neat and parallel. And then once I have that, we'll add glue. So what makes sense is to add glue on the inside and fold this. What will help as far as making it really square and straight is if you add glue on these tabs, and these will go on the outside. You could do it whichever way you want. I've done it both ways, and both have their pros and cons, like anything. So I'll put that there. That one there. And there we go with that. All right, so now we'll do this one. Fold this in. And also another thing you could do if you wanted to is decorate it with paper before you add it. I suggest you make one to see where everything goes. So, and then you've got sort of a, sorry, I know you can't see, but I'm gonna put this down so I can burnish. So you have a sample so you know where all the paper is gonna go. And then I'll add glue here and here. Oops, see, now this one, I'm going to have to go on the inside like this. Meant to do it the other way. Didn't do it the other way. But you know what? No big deal. See, here, this is why I don't like doing it this way, because it's a little trickier to line up. But you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just paper crafting. All right. And there we go with that. So now let's decorate this. So all these are 4 inches by 4 inches. So you'll need to cut 4 pieces that are 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and then watch the orientation, because you'll have this one, these 2 inside, and then this. The ones inside, I think you would probably want to make it non-directional. I would think so. And then you'll need 2, one for the inside, one for the outside. This is 2 by 4, so you want it 1 7/8 by 3 7/8. And this also is 2 by 4. And again, pay attention to direction. So you'll want more 3 7/8 by 1 7/8, but you'll round the corners of those. Then you'll need 4 pieces that are 7/8 by 3 7/8 for these 2 and these 2. And 2 more pieces, 3 7/8 by 7/8 for the bottom, if you want to put some on the bottom. And then you'll need 2 pieces. You could just do one of 7/8 by 4 7/8 for this, and you could round the corners. So let me show you what I got. So here we have this. See, I've decorated that. Now I didn't add any embellishments at this point, but I did add a little Velcro dot. See how I did this? Oops, you need to turn this way. So I had a couple of diamond-shaped brads, which I thought added something extra. And the best way of doing that is you cut the paper 1 7/8 by 3 7/8 and put it on the top. Decorate your little strip. See, that's why I did both sides. You can see the inside. Put a hole on here and then make a hole here with your paper on it, and then decorate the paper here. When you put the brads through, the paper here will cover the brads. So that's it for decorating that. Let's make a little mini album. Okay, so for the little mini album, you'll use 3 pieces of paper. They're all 3 3/4. One is 3 3/4 by 8 1/4. One is 3 3/4 by 8. One is 3 3/4 by 7 3/4. Let's grab the 3 3/4 by 8 1/4 and our scoreboard. And we're going to put the long side at the top, score it at 3 3/4 and at 4 1/2. The next one, the 3 3/4 by 8, we're going to score at 3 3/4 and 4 1/4. And then the one that's 3 3/4 by 7 3/4, we're going to score at 3 3/4 and 4. So you're probably thinking, wait, they're all scored at 3. Wait, you know what? Trust me, it will work. We're going to fold and burnish on the score line of 3 3/4 by 7 3/4. Make sure it's all straight. And we are going to add glue to this gusset. We're going to take this and put it, centering it on the gusset on the 3 3/4 by 8. So make sure it's centered so when you open the page, it will, everything is parallel to the top. I mean, if it's not. Okay. Then let's fold on these score lines. And now you have a new gusset that's a little bigger than the last one. Now you could use score tape, but at least if you use glue, you've got a little wiggle room. So do the same thing and center this, making sure the top and bottom is centered. And burnish, making sure everything is straight. And fold and burnish on those other score lines. And there you've got your mini album. Okay. So now, since these are 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, you can cut 20 pieces that are 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. If you're using scraps, it's not the worst thing in the world to cut a smaller piece and then a bigger one so you can use up your scraps. You also can make pockets. You can make flaps if you have little cut-aparts. You can treat this as a little mini album. But at the very least, just cut the paper to cover this. All right, so for the gift card holder, we'll need 2 pieces of cardstock. One that's 6 3/4 by 4, one that's 3 3/4 by 8. I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And the one that's 3 3/4 by 8 will score at 3 3/4 and 4 1/4. 3 3/4, 4 1/4, and then just put that aside. The one that is 6 3/4 by 4. So we will first score with the long side at the top, score at 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 5 1/4, 5 1/2. Rotate so the short side's at the top and score at 1/4 of an inch all the way down and at 3 3/4. So now we're going to need to remove some of this. We will remove this part, that, and that. So let me grab my scissors and show you. So I'm going to start here and just cut right at the line and take off this long strip going across one of the score lines, stopping at the second. So I'll go across the long, stopping at the second, and cut. Okay, now I want you to cut off, just go up to the score line. That little tab can stay on there. It's not going to hurt anything. So same here and here. And then let's miter that little thing, that, and that. So that's what it's going to look like when all said and done. And if you have a notcher, or you can use a circle punch, let's go. So we've got this short side here. We're going to go on the opposite side and just do a little thumb notch. So we're going to fold and burnish on our score lines. Oh, you know what else we can do is a corner round the top. I'll do that. So I'm going to just round the top. Oops. I didn't grab my corner rounder, but you know what? That's okay. I don't mind. Okay, so simply what we're going to do is make sure these little tabbies are folded in. And the ones on this piece are going to be on the outside. I cleaned up. I have to grab my glue. I'm going to add glue onto these. And just glue those pieces together. So this is where, if you have a bone folder that's 1/4 of an inch thick, you can use that. And so there you go. So you'll add your decorative paper, and then you can use a little Velcro dot or a magnet if you want. And then you'll put your decorative paper in here and then just add that into there. And that will go into your pocket. So they'll open it up and like, yay, a gift card, with the appropriate amount of enthusiasm. So that is how I made the gift card box using scraps of paper. All right, so like I said, I only had these scraps left as far as good sized scraps. I mean, I had teeny tiny little scraps like that, and yeah, I guess I could probably have made a card out of it, but you know, I've got other projects going on. I'm not going to worry about those. They're going to go in the fireplace, and I'm going to start a fire and roast some s'mores to go with some hot chocolate. So let me walk through this little thing for you. So again, I used a Recollections paper pad from Michaels. It came out this year. I had to go buy it because I was out of Christmas paper, which is a good thing. But to let you know, you can use one 6x6 paper and do this. Now, you don't have to make a gift card holder and a mini album. You could put 2 gift card holders in there, or a gift card holder and make a little card, or make 2 mini albums or 2 gift card holders, whatever you want to do. But it gives you a little bit of options. There were in this kit 24 double-sided sheets. 2 of the papers, one was 3x3 cut aparts and one was 6 tags on the sheet. Besides that, there's no ephemera. I mean, I'm sure if I looked, I could have found something, but I was happy just trying to make do with things from the collection. If you had lots of pieces of 12x12 paper, you know, larger scraps, you could absolutely make several of these. So let's take a look at this. The cover has one of those little cut aparts. I put some brads in the corner. I just wanted this a little more, I don't know if it's masculine as much as it's earthy. Not foo-foo, not too girly. So I popped this up on a piece of chipboard from my scrap stash and then put that on a piece of cardstock. And that just made sort of a good pocket, and it's nice and sturdy, and I used a little Velcro dot under here. So there's paper. I did stack a couple of papers just to make something break up this big pattern. I could have put something down here, but I didn't know what, so I left it blank, and I think it's fine. So here's the top. I used diamond-shaped brads I've had in my stash. I got from a swap or something like that. So, again, you know, sort of earthy. Just some plain generic paper. Now the back, this was one of the cut aparts. I layered on some cardstock and just glued 3 sides so it made a tuck spot for a tag. This was just scrap of paper. I layered some paper, used a brad, and some burlappy kind of ribbon. So you could put to and from on here. And yeah, the bottom, just generic. The side's a pretty plaid. So this comes up, and then you see inside we've got the 2 sides. So this side I made a little pocket. Again, I used some of the striped paper and layered it, and it makes a nice little detail. I took some of the tags that were in there, layered some paper on this one and then that one, and just left that one the same. This one I used a brad. That one I used an eyelet. I used staples to staple the ribbon. This I just put a couple of pieces of paper. So that goes in like that. I didn't do anything with this side. I just left it plain because I figured you'll look at it like that and look at this piece. So let me show you the mini album. One of the cut aparts that I put on a darker paper, it was the evergreen paper. It wasn't plain, there wasn't plain paper, and I want to use paper from here, not from my stash. I layered that up a little bit and put some stripy paper on the dark paper, on the tree paper. Inside I just cut a little corner pocket, added some more of the tags. I used a scrap, used a thumb notch, and just added a couple more tags because they were fun. Here we go. I just added 2 pieces of paper next to each other because I didn't, at this point, I didn't have full, I think it's 3 5/8 by 3 5/8, so I just put together some pieces and added a stripy paper in between. I cut one of the tags down for that. I think I should have bordered it with something. I bordered this paper with some of the cardstock and used a corner punch to make an interesting corner. I just made a little plain photo mat with that one. And again, I just used scraps of paper because I didn't have full sheets. The deer paper, I just took this and just added some paper here, diagonal paper. That was this diagonal paper. just to make an element. Good spot there for a photo. I made a tuck spot with some more tags, because why not? I love that evergreen paper. And then there's the back again, just piecing together some paper with an element from the collection, and just used a circle punch, and made an element there. So that's it for the mini album. Let me show you the gift card book. So again, I layered one of the cut aparts with some of the cardstock. I used the deer paper here. I used a circle punch, and I cut 2 or 3 layers of the cardstock and layered it. So it made a nice little pull, because that's where we've got the Velcro dot. So I have this little thing. I used my tab punch to make a little tab, folded this because it was too big. Added one of that element from the tag, some of the diamond, what's the word I'm looking for? Brad. And you could take a gift card and put it in here, and so you can pull this out, and yay, there's the gift card. So yeah, so there's that. The gift card's dead, so I'm just using it as my yeah, my thing. Okay, and I just put scraps of paper on the back and some of that paper there. So there is that. I mean, I think it makes a nice little assortment. Like I said, it used up almost a full 6x6 paper pad. Now, like I said, I've been holding out on you. This is what I did with the red cardstock one. I have told you that I had a couple of things in my stash. Well, I also had some of the Merry and Bright collection from Graphic 45 in my stash, but I didn't include it in my Christmas stash because I wasn't sure if I was going to use it for the album I was working on as I was doing all of these Merry Makers projects. But I finished that, and I had some paper left over, so I had more in my Christmas stash I wasn't telling you about. Sorry. But I used it to decorate this. I had a lot of the red and white paper, so I sort of went with that as a theme on the outside of the box. I really wasn't fond of that paper at first, but you know, when you put it all together, I think it came out pretty cool. I had a star from the ephemera. I just put it on here. I just striped one of the papers. I don't think it was either quarter paper. I think it was this paper I just cut down from the 12 by 12 and put it on some gold paper. There is my handle. I did use eyelets on this one. I just put that on the back. I didn't put a little envelope because I didn't have much paper left. And there's the side pieces. So this will open like that. There is my inside. And then I didn't do too much here. I just put a little scrap of paper and a sticker. Like I said, I didn't have too much left. Yay! Here is the little mini album. I'm going to pull out the gift card at the same time. So let me show you the gift card holder. So I had the peppermint kind of paper, one of the cut aparts, and I just fussy cut another pine cone. Some of the red and white paper, I just used whatever I could, pieced it together, made it look good, and there is room for your fabulous gift card in there. I didn't make a little folder to go in there because I didn't need to use up my paper. All right, so there's that. And then here's the little mini album. I had some of the chipboard pieces, so I used the rest of them. Yeah, nothing exciting about that. I used one of the stamps that I had for just a corner tuck spot. This was from the 8x8 collection. It was part of the cut apart sheet, so I just folded it and added some red paper there to make it like a card. Jingle Bells is on the back, but that'll tuck in there nicely. Left this plain. I could have put just a piece of red to put a photo on, but you can put a photo on it just the way it is. And there we go with that. And there we go with that. Here is a little tuck spot. Just one of the cut aparts there. So this was interesting. This was a rectangular chipboard frame. It was maybe 4x6, maybe a little bit smaller. I'm not sure what size it was, but I cut it down and made it a little more square, added something on one corner and something on the other, so you can't tell that I cut it down. And then I could use it, and then I'm done. And then I used the chipboard piece underneath something. Was it under? I don't know. It was under something. All the leftover scraps from that. Here's another chipboard piece on this little pocket. That paper is gorgeous. Another little tuck spot to put a piece. And then I made a card, sort of a card. It was too long, so I just folded it over and made a little tuck spot. I loved this, but it was longer than you would have thought, so I just folded it funky and got it to add into the pocket. So there is that, and that will go into our little side loading pocket in the back, and there is the back. So we've got those, and we've got this one, and we've got no more Christmas paper left. Isn't that fabulous? I am so happy about that. So, all done with our Merry Makers Christmas craft collab. Let me know if you'd like to see another collab in the future. Do you want to see Valentine's Day? Do you want to see St. Patrick's Day? Let me know. I'm open to the idea. I'm not guaranteeing that I will do it, but if I get enough interest, I might. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out everybody else and have a fabulous day.